When I knew that I was moving to Chicago, one of the things I had to wrestle with was whether I was going to sell my car or not. And as someone who moved here at 29 years old and had to depend on my car my whole life to get everywhere growing up in the South, this was a big deal for me. Here are four things that I would consider, two of them being pretty much no-brainers and easy decisions to make, and the last two being a little more nuanced. The first one is your job. This is an easy one. If you need your car for your job, keep it. I work in marketing, and there's only been a handful of times when I've had to get around the city, and it's been really easy to just catch a bus or the train or use the car that my employer provided. Number two is if your car is paid off. If I had a car that was paid off, I would have 100% brought it up here. These last two are a little more nuanced. So the first one is going to be your location in the city. I'm new here, so I'm not necessarily qualified to speak on this. However, based on the conversations I've had, if you live on the south side or the west side, it's not as easy to get around the city without a car. I'm on the north side, but I'm close to downtown, and it's been really easy for me to get around without a car. Maybe if you live here in the city, you can help me out in the comments by providing your thoughts on that part. The last thing is your tolerance for inconvenience. So if I'm meeting with someone at 7 o'clock somewhere in the city, I have to leave at maybe 6:15 or 6:20 instead of leaving at 6:40, 6:45. And I'm not saying that's always the case. That's just the case sometimes. Sometimes when you consider finding a parking spot, getting to your car in a parking garage, blah, 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 the time is pretty much the same. It takes 13 minutes to drive somewhere, 18 minutes via public transit. That time kind of evens out. That 5 minutes really makes up for itself. I know people talk about delays and ghost buses, but that's been such a mute point for me here that it hasn't been a huge inconvenience to where I quote unquote regret selling my car. Having it take a little longer to get places sometimes actually is not a huge deal for me either, because I view it as a passive experience commuting via public transportation instead of it being an active and kind of stressful experience commuting with a car. I also enjoy the downtime of being able to process my thoughts and emotions and be creative and think of business ideas and really just let my brain breathe while I'm commuting somewhere. It's a really nice experience for me. Or you can consume something like a podcast or an audiobook and be fully focused on it without having to divert your attention between driving on the road and listening to what you're listening to. A bonus point to consider is if you have family in the area. If I had family in the suburbs or in Wisconsin or Michigan, I would 100% keep my car as well. But as a transplant from the South, I have nobody out here. So if you're someone that moved from far away, I would definitely consider getting rid of your car. Have I had the thought, man, I wish I had a car right now? No, I'll be honest, it hasn't happened once. Do I miss the act of driving sometimes and maybe having the option to take a little road trip to, I don't know, I want to say somewhere in the Midwest, like Indiana or Wisconsin, but I probably wouldn't do that, to be honest. And do I miss car ownership? Absolutely not.